Hey guys, it's Cheryl from Tinker's Cart Art, and I thought I would pop in tonight and paint a fall painting for you guys. It's this purple background fall tree. It's a little spooky. It could be for Halloween. You could put some bats up in the background, but it's really a quick and easy and fun painting. I did it live the other night at my local library, and the ladies and the gentlemen had a blast. So, hey Ellie, I thought I'd pop on here tonight to paint it for you. I have a canvas here that I sort of started to demo on for class. So I'm gonna quickly paint this up with that design. Hey Karen, good, how are you tonight? I'm just unexpectedly popping in to do that purple tree that I was promising everybody in the Fall Artist Workshop. So I thought I'd paint it here live for you, and I will upload it to the Learn to Paint with Cheryl group and the Fall Artist Workshop group. We have lots of fun things going on for September here. So I am going to pop right in. I'm going to move the camera, so hold on tight because you're going to be upside down for a second, and I will jump right in and start painting. Hey Robin, hey Kathy. So hang on, we're going to just do a little flipperoo here. And I'll pull you up on my computer too so that you can ask any questions you might have, and I can see how the painting looks, if you can see it. I'm going to pull you up here now, so hang on for a sec. If you have questions, throw them in the comments. I'm going to get it up a little higher so you can see everything I'm painting. And I appreciate your patience, getting this organized, all the techie fun stuff. And here we go. I'm going to make sure I'm not upside down. Guys, let me know in the comments that if you can see it and hear me okay. Yeah, I think that's right side up. So I've thrown out a few colors here. Here we go. You don't need too many. You can use your primaries for this painting. I've thrown out some extra colors too. I'm going to keep adjusting this because I have a little delay on my end. I'm just going to mix up my purple with some red and blue. It's a phthalo blue. You can use an ultramarine blue, whatever you might have. I find it makes a nicer purple than what I find in the bottles. I have black and white. I like to have some fall colors. I'm going to add an orange or two to this for the leaves on the bottom. Whatever you have for oranges, burnt sienna, burnt umber, yellow ochre, any of those gold colors, any fall colors you have. I threw a pink and a blue and a turquoise because sometimes I like to put that in my sky. We'll see what we use as we go along. Okay, let me push this back. I want you to see what I am doing. I'm going to start with a big brush. You can use a bristle brush. You can use your chip brush, 1.5 half-inch, 2-inch chip brush, whatever works. Your 1 inch or 1.5 inch little synthetic flat. I'm not particular. You just need a bigger brush to start with. And so let me hop in and mix up. Well, I'll mix my purple up there in a second. I'm going to get this a little higher. I really want you to be able to see everything as I go along. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Crazy stuff. I can't really get this set up before we start because, well, that's not helping you much, is it? I just really want you to see everything. There, that's a pretty good view. You should be able to see what I'm doing there. I will move that canvas around as I'm painting too, so that you can see what's going on. Okay, how I start some of these skies, whether it's a night sky with blue, stars, moons, whatever, I start with the white here for this moon. So all I do, and I know this is just on here from a demo, so ignore that. I'm taking just white on my brush. I plunk it down, and I just spiral out. I'm working fairly quickly because I want to blend this white into my purple paint that I'm going to mix up and add. That's why I paint rather quickly. Just wiping the white off of my brush. I'm not washing it. I'm just wiping it off on a paper towel. I'm going to go right in and get a purple. And you can adjust it to what you like. It doesn't have to look like mine. A little more red. You can have a more red purple. Just kind of whatever you like. I'm going to start on the outside edge here, and I'm going to go right around that white moon that I painted. Now, I've got the white moon. I've got the purple around it. I want to blend. I want a nice soft blend here. So what I'm going to do is just use the same brush but dry it off. I am going to use that dry brush to blend. I'm just going to wipe it off. I'm going to jump in here and start a little into the white, a little into the purple, and I'm just softly blending it. Can you see both colors are wet? As I start picking up too much purple, I will just wipe it off. And I'm going to work kind of fast so that I can blend this while both colors are wet. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit of a blend there. I'm not worrying about out here yet. I just want to work on that little blend. Okay, it's where I want it. What I'm going to do now is set this aside. I'm going to take a very similar brush. Just grab another brush that's a clean brush. Actually, this one will be ideal. Back into my white. But you see how easy and quick this is. I'm going to repeat what I did. I'm going to pop my brush right here. I'm going to spiral it out. Got wet paint on there. And I am just going to go right out into that purple. I like that hazy look that you get when you just spiral that out and let the color and the paint just bleed off. And that's pretty much what I do. I don't do too much. I'm going to just finesse this a little bit. I'm going to go back in here. I don't mind. I want the sun, the moon area to be a little purpley. I don't want it to be just stark white. So I'm just going to work into my purple a little bit. And I am just using these circular, spirally brush strokes right out. There. Now I want to add my purple to the rest of my canvas. Again, rather quickly, because I want to come back in while it's wet and add some little white and colored bits in. I love when I go in and I am using two colors and I don't mix it well on the palette and I get a little bit of each shade. That really works for me. I paint in a real painterly look. I like to use a lot of color. I like to see my brush strokes. I like the way this is very plum colored and reddish. Then we can get into more of a blue purple. It's just simply achieved by putting my brush in the different colors and just going with it. If I want to blend it in a little more, I can do it right on the canvas. I'm going to continue out just using that circular stroke. I'm going right around in a circle all the way through the sky. Painting it a little heavy. I'm applying the paint a little heavy. Lots of times I tell you to keep very thin coats, but I want a lot of paint on here. I want it to stay wet while I'm working. It's really a fun sky. You can throw in any colors. I always stress to you guys not to worry about doing it exactly like me. Just take some instruction from me, get some ideas, and then go for it with whatever colors, techniques you like. I'm always here to help you and answer questions if you get stuck. Even if you're watching this on a replay, put some questions in the comments or feel free to message me. You see how I'm hopping all over the canvas? I really want to keep this wet. I'll go down to the bottom here. I don't have to go right to the edge because I have that little base of leaves down there when we're put our tree in. And in a moment, you'll see why I'm working so quickly. Again, it's just red and blue primaries mixed. And now I'm going to wipe that brush off. I want to get the paint off there so that I can go and spiral around here with some white, maybe some pink, maybe some turquoise. But I want a dry brush to do that. And this wouldn't work if the paint was dry. So I'm taking some white. Now I don't want to get a big brush load of color. I don't want a big white streak on there. I want a little, so I'm taking some off. And now I'm just going to apply some of that white, same brush stroke, same spiral. A lot of this is going to be covered with our tree and our branches, so don't really fuss too much. And you can get as little or as much of this detail on here that you like. What I did on mine, let me get these last few bits in, is I did the spirals all around. And sometimes I did some little stop and start areas. So it's not just a constant line that I did first, now I can go in and just do some little streaks of color here and there. If you have some areas which are transparent, because the acrylic paint is notoriously transparent on some colors and most colors, a little white into any of those colors really makes it a little more opaque. I think the transparency works in a painting like this, but if it bothers you, take little bits of white and you can really get it a little more solid coverage. I then just dry my brush off again. Hey Linda, I'm back too, right? I didn't expect to, but I thought, I've been promising this purple painting for a while and I need to get it done for you guys. Hey Debbie, it was good to see you this afternoon. Hey Tammy, hey Alma, thanks for popping in. I sometimes take this purple. It might not show up much because this purple is really a similar tone, but it actually is nice. Look at how that pink looks. Just kind of lightly, I'm not digging into the paint, I'm lightly putting these little strokes. Drying that off again. I might go in. I did blue on my last painting, but you know, I've been in such a teal pink phase this summer, which I'm having to give up because we're getting into the fall colors. But let's just try it. Let's see. I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. Let's see. It does blend in and it loses some of its vibrancy, but I don't mind it. And if I wanted it to be a little more stand-out-ish, I could certainly put it in when it's dry, but I don't mind that. I think that's a cool background. Again, you can leave that as is if you want. You can go in and play around with it if you want to do more little strokes, for instance, like this around your moon. Just little, I'm using the synthetic small square this time. It lays it on a little thicker. If you wanted to get more of a little line around here, you can do that. If you put that on and don't love it, you just need to sort of dry brush it out a little bit with your big brush. Play around and have fun. You cannot mess too much up in acrylic. If you do not like it, do not fret. You can take a little bit of clean water on a brush, wipe it off with a paper towel. If it's dry, let it dry. You can paint the whole thing white again and start. I want you to have fun with it. I don't want you to worry about making a mistake. We're not going to have any mistake making because there's no right or wrong way. It's pretty easy. Okay, so the whole background is done. I want you to see me as I do this bottom bit. So let me just move this back a bit. I want you to see the bottom part that I'm going to work on now. Shift this up. And I'm going to just put a little base in of a burnt sienna. It's just that reddish brown. Use whatever brush you have handy. I'm going to go right into the brush I was using for the purple. It's fine. And it is. It's just the burnt sienna. Actually, that's a dark orange. Burnt sienna's over here. There. I think it's shifted, so you're going to see me a little bit down here putting in this background. That might be better. Okay. It's going to mix with my purple. That's still wet. It doesn't matter. When I started painting, I mostly want to get just the white areas covered. With acrylics especially, you need to do a few coats sometimes to get good coverage. I want to get that white covered. Then I want to get a little heavier coverage if it needs it, so that I can go ahead and put in my shadows and my highlights, which is the most fun, and that really makes paintings pop at the end. So there we are. We've got a little base coat in the bottom there, underneath where our leaves are going to go. Might be a little darker right here where we're going to have a little tiny bit of a shadow for our tree underneath the leaves. So what I'm going to do is just do this. Just a little rough bit of dark brown. Easy peasy. Now, the tree. It's just painted black. If any of you painted with me this afternoon, you know I did a lot more detail in that painting we did. Here it is right here. It's a little more focus on the painting, so we really went to town and shaded and highlighted and did some texture for the tree. This is just simply all black. Could not be easier. All black tree for Halloween and for fall. I'm going to grab my black paint. I'm going to use my little synthetic brush there. I think it's a 10. And I'm freehanding it. Now, if you would like, let this dry. Just take an ordinary piece of chalk. You can sketch your tree in. If you don't like it, it just wipes away, and it's a good way to draw on your paintings when you are wanting to get a little bit of a sketch in there. I'm not really worried but where this is going to go. It's going up the left-hand side. And I'm just using my black paint straight on. I'm noticing now that this black paint on this dark purple, I know it's a little hard to see because of the glare and everything, but I might just want to lighten up here a little bit sometimes to make that black tree pop. We can worry about that later if that's an issue. Okay, so my trees, here's an easy way to do it. I just got the trunk here. The trees are always a little bit wider at the base, so just make it a little wider and then taper it up a little bit. You're not striving to make that straight. You want it to be a little curved and wonky because that's how trees grow. I'm dragging the wet paint through here. Ideally, I would let this dry, put my black paint on. It would cover really well, but I'm not going to make you hang around all night. I want to show you this fairly quickly and how I make my branches. I'm using my flat brush still. I'm going to press a little bit when I start my branch. Press a little bit. I'm going to wiggle it a little bit. Look at how I'm turning that brush kind of just on its chisel edge as I'm going. I'm keeping my paint watered down. Important when you're going to do some little details like this. Keep your paint watered down. Every few strokes I add a little water. I want it more like ink. It's going to make a nice line for me rather than drag along. And I use my flat brush. You can certainly use your round. If you wanted to go in there with a liner brush or your round brush, that would certainly work. I'm just going to do it with my chisel edge. I'm going to get my big branches in first. So let's just get some big branches in first. So can you see I'm pressing, pulling, and working my way up. Again, we'll get that a little darker after it dries. We're just working wet and wet here. Press a little bit, pull, and sort of get into the chisel edge. And I make all of the bigger branches first. It's like a little skeleton. All my leaves have something to go on to after. This particular painting doesn't have a lot of leaves. You could put tons on if you wanted. This one is pretty sparse, little sections of leaves, and I love then sometimes to make them just kind of falling off and floating away. Even when I do the little branches off these big guys, I press a little bit, pull, press and pull and wiggle, press and pull and wiggle. Add a little water to my paint because it is getting a little thick. And I'm just going to go and make lots of little leaves off these guys. How fun. You can make it really spooky looking too. Take a look at some of those spooky trees with all the crazy branches. Catherine, do not worry if your phone died. I will post this. This video will live on the page. I'll upload it to YouTube and give you the link. So do not fear. You can watch this anytime. So if I go on live like this, it's not something that you have to see or else you miss it. It's always going to be available. So do not worry. Send me a message if you can't find it anywhere. I'm going to kind of switch over to my liner. Now that I thought about it, I'm thinning the paint down. So, thin lines. Oh, I can't make thin lines. I can't make them like you. Thin lines are too hard. It's not really the line making. It's the brush and the pressure sometimes. If I was to take and say, I'm going to paint a line. Oh, look, I can't get a thin line. It's because I had a lot of pressure on that brush. Constant pressure. If you keep your paint thin. Oops, I just picked up some white. Hang on. Keep your paint thin. A little pressure to begin with, right, to get the beginning, and then just kind of wiggle that and take it off. I'm wiggling it a little bit, and I'm getting less and less and less pressure, and I hardly have a grip on this. I'm not tight. I'm not pressing hard. I'm pressing a tiny bit to begin always, and then I loosen up, and then I pull it right off the page or off the canvas. So it's a practice thing, of course. Yeah, you will have to practice a little bit, but it's not that you can't do it. It's that hold the brush a little looser, keep your paint a little thinner, and pull your brush right off the canvas. Pull it off, and you're going to get a nice thin line. You could go on and on and on with these little branches. Do as many or as few as you want. I did do some with kind of a funnier look to them. Just looked a little spookier. I don't know why, when you sort of made it a little more angled. I've got an awful lot of tiny ones there. I'm going to thicken some of these up. I want it to be able to support those little leaves that we're going to put on. Some people do lots and lots of branches. Some do very few. This painting is so fun when I do it with a class because there are so many variations. I will post the picture of the class with everybody with their paintings, and you can see how different they all look. Different colors in the background, different weights of branches, different amounts of leaves. And like I said, you can go as many or as few, but that just gives you an idea what you need to do with your tree. I'm going to work down here a tiny bit. It is still wet. Let's see what we can do with that without it being dried yet. I like to take a brush. I'm going to probably use the filbert this time. I usually take a brush that is kind of around the size of the leaves I want to put on. So a filbert would work, or a bristle brush. This is too small, I think. I might grab a couple brushes. I might use this one for some of the bigger leaves on the bottom and then go back to the filbert for the leaves on the tree. Hey Shelby, hey Tina. Hey, nice to see you guys. Hey Lynn. All right, the leaves down here that are just on the ground, I go from dark to light. So let me just look at my palette. We've got the burnt sienna on there. Let's go with this little bit, a little lighter than that, but it doesn't show up a whole lot, but I'm just gonna dab it on. Dabbing them on. And this would be good if it was a little drier, but let's just go ahead anyway. I want to make this not a perfect line, so I can just set some leaves up that go up a little higher than the ground here and there. I want to put some on top of this shadow. The dark will still stay there. And almost it's a little for texture too. Putting it on pretty thick, which is of course not helping me in the drying end of things. And then I just dry off my brush. I don't want to wash it each time. I don't want to get involved with a lot of water. So let's just go into a little lighter shade of orange. Dabbing that on. It's gonna start mixing a little bit with the color underneath, but we're gonna let that dry a little bit. We're gonna work on those leaves up above. That gave us a nice base. What I'm gonna do next when that's a little drier is go in with some gold and some yellows. I will mix some yellow and some of this orange with a little white, get those light shades. But let's go up here and work a little bit. That's drying a little faster. I'm going to use my filbert because I like, it's a softer brush and it's going to lay that color on a little heavier. Plus it's rounded, so it has that nice leaf shape. And again, you can put as many leaves as you want. I don't want too many. I want to go fairly light. Let me throw a few on in the orange. And what I meant by little groups, I'm going to do like little groups of leaves, not an even amount all over everywhere. And try not to pick up that black. And I do love to sometimes put a few that are just kind of blowing away in the breeze. Now, orange and yellow is a very transparent color. As you can see, I'm putting it over that purple. You hardly see it. I'm going to do some because I want them darker like that. And then I'm going to show you a little trick to make those really stand out afterwards. And here we go, just popping those on. It's the evening and I'm on the porch, so of course the paint is not drying as fast as I'd like, but you guys will get the idea of how quick and easy this is to paint, and you can always add the brighter colors on later. And here we go. So if you guys that have caught me live, welcome and thanks for watching. If you would like to be notified when I go live, I do have a number here you can text me at. It's 978-315-5650. You will get on my list and you would be notified a few minutes before I go live. And if that is of interest to you, jot that down, send me a text, you'll be on my list. You can also text me at that with any questions you have about anything at all. And let's see. Should have brought my heat gun out with me. I did not. So a little trick to get these colors to show up a little more once you do, I like to do them a little darker first, and then when you're going along, you can just add a tiny bit of white, like I said before, to make things a little more opaque. Tiny bit of white. So if we put this color on like this, for instance, it's okay. I want some that are a little darker. On the white background, it'll certainly show up. But if we need to, we'll add a little white, and we'll get that color a little more opaque and a little brighter to make those front leaves pop. I know you can't really see it, and like I said, I want a few dark ones in there, so let's do that. And then if you just take a little aside, add a little bit of white to that. Now look how they show up, right? But I want the contrast. I want some vague, subtle in the background, and then these guys, a little brighter, will pop a little more. And we can do the same thing with the orange. But I do love little ones just trailing away here. Let's do a little of that orange and add a little white just to get that a little more coverage, a little brighter. Mixing up a lighter orange. Look at how those pop now. I'm doing just a few here and there. Again, you guys can do them wherever you want, and I will pull that sample out in a minute to show you what it looks like with just a little bit brighter paints. I like just little groupings of it though. It's really sparse, fall-like. All your leaves have blown off the tree. And I think on mine there's just some yellow and orange leaves up here. I want a few more brighter orange, brighter yellow, sorry. Same thing, just take a little here and there. No rhyme or reason. I am not strategically placing them. I'm not concentrating too hard on where they're going. They go on top of the branches. They go between. I'm sort of staying a little off the branches sometimes here just because they're still wet. But later on, I'll pop some on there. Let's see if we can get any color to stay down here because we have that wet paint still. And so that you can see that bottom bit when I'm doing it. Okay, I think that's good. I went lighter across the tippy top. So I'm going to use some of this yellow gold. Dab some on. Again, random. I'm not really thinking about it too much. I'm just kind of doing it pretty quick. And let's get a little brighter. I would suggest letting it dry a little bit and not being so quick. How long have we been at this? Not long. 27 minutes. So not bad for a painting in 27 minutes. I would finesse it a little more as it dries. You know what is nice? Let's get a little bit of a cad yellow here with a little white and see what we get. Come on. Let's just see if we notice the difference. I really love these gold colors for fall, but let's just try a little white with this cad. It's kind of nice, isn't it? It's a nice color. Like I said, I do it a little brighter across the tippy top, so that little grassy, really no more grass there, it's leaves. Just dabbing on whatever you need. That could almost be done. I would let it dry. I would come back and pop in some of these light colors a little more when I didn't have to worry about the black in the background being dragged in. But not bad for like under a half an hour painting. Here is the sample. It is a little bit more finished. You can see. Let me scooch it out because it's a big 16 by 20. And you can see little bits of leaves here, not too much. I did way more branches. I went way out to the side more. But, and I actually even did some little turquoise leaves down below. I don't know why. I do like it though. So let's pop a few of those in and see what happens. A few of those. I don't know why. It's kind of cool. I'm just loving the turquoise. That's pretty cool. I like it. All right. So I'll keep this on the page. I will make it up. I will put it up to YouTube. If you follow my YouTube channel, Tinker's Cart Art, it will appear there. There are lots of free classes there. If you have not taken a look, lots of things you can paint. I am going to turn you around again so I can actually see you guys and say good night to you. Thank you for watching. I will put a picture of this up when I add a few more brights to it. I know it's, like I said, a little dull. Hang on, I'm losing you here. You don't need my big old painty hand in the way. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. It was fun. A quick little Halloween painting. I'm going to pop on quite a bit and paint some little quick things. I've got lots of little magnets and little tote bags and all kinds of fun things. I don't know if you saw the little glass jar candles I painted the other day. So if you haven't, follow me on the Tinker's Cart Art page here. You can join my Learn to Paint group. It's a free group, and we do fun projects there. Also, big news is my art membership. I have an art membership. It's called Tinker's Cartists. It's even tough for me to say. And it's a private membership, and I am opening it this week on the 29th. So we have a great group in that membership. I'm opening it on the 29th for a week. You have a chance to join at the price you join at, which is a low price. It's going to be a low price of like $22 a month. You will stay at that price forever once you join. There's no obligation. You can come. You can join it for a month and decide it's for you or not, and no hard feelings. It's just try it out and see if you like it. I go in there live every month by Zoom. So we paint together by Zoom, exclusive paintings for the members. I can see you, you can see me, you can ask questions, you can hold your painting up. We chit chat, we critique, we have a lot of fun. Then I also release 2 exclusive paintings to you that you can just have the replay of. Well, you have the replay of everything. You have a replay of the Zooms too, but I released 2 that are recorded, and they are living in a library within the group. Very organized, easy place to follow along with all the things. For instance, like tonight, this is not my Cartist painting, but it will go into the group under the guide for the month, so all my members could go in and go by each month and see every project I've done. You also get in the group any of my paid classes for free. For instance, we have a great class workshop starting tomorrow night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night. We're painting those vintage trucks, which we're doing, do I have right here? Oh, I might have them right here. We are doing these for 3 nights in a row. We are doing this painting tomorrow night, little scarecrow, right? Vintage. You already know how to do the trees now. Then we're going to do the witch. And then we're going to finish up on Wednesday night with the Christmas. This is a $10 paid class for 3 nights, so it's a great deal. But my Cartist people get this automatically right in their group. They don't have to go to the special page for it. It comes right to them. So it's really fun, great group, very encouraging. I welcome beginners. I show you, as you see tonight, step by step by step. So I will put in the description and in the comments the links if you are interested in any or all of that. But if not, just watch me on my page. I'm always painting and giving you little tips and tutorials and everything. So I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you for popping in, and please post your paintings. I'd love to see them. And I'll post the picture of my class the other day so you can see the great variety of paintings that everyone did. So anyways, have a great night, and I will see some of you for truck painting, and some of you are my members. Liz Linda, she's one of my members, and I just enjoy them so much, and I enjoy painting with all of you guys. So I'm going to say goodnight. I'll see you tomorrow night, hopefully. Okay, bye.